Hello there. This is What If Unknown. Now I'm going to be doing part 5 of What If Naruto was raised by an unknown tailed beast. Now, let's get into the video. Now we're going to be doing a 3-year time skip from where we were. Now, during this time skip, Naruto has been training Yugito in Kenjutsu, Ninjutsu, and so on. Now, she's very proficient in the silent killing technique due to her cat-like reflexes and being able to hide her presence very well. As her affinities are her lightning affinity and her fire affinity is very powerful. Now, so Naruto has trained her in her lightning affinity, making her become one of the strongest lightning users. So yes. Anyway, May has made Naruto go out on this mission. That is a little bit dangerous, but nonetheless, he has finished it. But May has decided Yugito not to go on that mission. But anyway, yeah. So, Naruto has just finished the mission that May set him on. As he is walking through a village looking for a new book to read because he finished one of his Make Out Tactics Paradise, or so on, books from the great author Jiraiya. As he's gonna go check the store to see if there's a new book that came out by him. Hopefully there is, he thinks. As then, a gray-haired man bumped into Naruto. As the man apologizes, as he says, I'm sorry for bumping into you. As Naruto says, oh, no worries. As Jiraiya says, are you a ninja? As Naruto says, what if I am? He says, well, you may know me. I am Toad Sage Jiraiya of the legendary Sannin. As Naruto says, oh, that's nice. As then he continues. As then Jiraiya notices Naruto's book that's in his holder. As he notices it's one of his books. As he says, hey, by any chance, do you read Make Out Tactics, or Make Out Paradise? As Naruto says, as his ears and his tails just perk up, as he turns around, he says, yes. What of it? As then he says, well, I am the author of that book. As Naruto says, it's a masterpiece. As then Jiraiya says, I know, it's not that. Wait, what? You think it's a masterpiece? As Naruto has, stars sparkling in his eyes, saying, yes, it is a masterpiece. Please, master. Can you please tell me you have new books? I'm your biggest fan. They're the greatest books ever made. As then Jiraiya is taken back by this as he goes and he gets a smirk as he says, well, these books, there's a new series that'll be coming out. But as then Naruto's ears are just wagging fast because of all the excitement of him meeting the author of the books that are masterpieces to him. As it's almost creating a tornado. As Jiraiya kind of sees Naruto's tails wagging, as then he notices this is the White Wolf of the Mist. As he says, hey, by any chance, are you the White Wolf of the Mist? As Naruto says, yeah, what of it? As then he says, I actually have a present for you, and I'm actually one of your biggest fans as well. Can't believe the White Wolf of the Mist is my biggest fan. As then he says, Jiraiya pulls out a book. As then he says, this book, it's one of a kind. As Naruto's eyes just start sparkling even more. And his tails are wagging even faster. As then Jiraiya says, this is for you. As Naruto says, wait, what? You're giving me this book that's only one of a kind? As Jiraiya says, well, you see, I created a book for the White Wolf of the Mist, because I'm one of your biggest fans as well, and I really wanted to make something great for you. You don't know how many times I've almost died for this. As then, Naruto's confused, as he says, 106 centimeters. It was worth it. As then, Naruto's confused, but he says, oh, so, what's all in it? As he says, everything. As Jiraiya says, everything, all my research. I think this is the greatest masterpiece I've ever created. As then Naruto's eyes just widen as he says, I'll take care of this. I will not allow anything to happen to this book. As Jiraiya kind of chuckles as he says, please make sure, because this is only one of a kind, like I said. So, it has everything. I could say I could die happily, but I still will continue my other series. As Naruto says, oh, really? Oh, I'm going to read every single book of your series. As in, then Naruto kind of goes under his breath. Even if I have to bring you back to life myself to make you finish the series. As then Jiraiya says, what? Did you say something? As Naruto says, oh, no, don't worry about it. As then Jiraiya says, I see. Well, it was nice meeting you. And, oh yeah. He pulls out another book. And Naruto notices the title of this book. Now, the title is talking about myths of the ninja world. And it just so happened that the 12 Tales, the myth of the 12 Tales, was in the book. As it had some stuff on the 12 Tales, but it wasn't that much. As then, the 12 Tales, and Naruto decided to do a little thing for him. As then, they go to the page of where the 12 Tales is. And literally, Naruto signs on the page of where the 12 Tales is. As then he says, here you go, Jiraiya. Master. As he's saying this because of the books. As then he says, well, it was nice meeting you, and thank you for the book. I'll cherish this until the day I die. As then Jiraiya laughs and says, it was nice meeting you. I hope we could see each other again. As then Naruto says, always, for sure. As then he walks away. As then Jiraiya opens the book. As then he goes to the page of where the 12 Tales is. And Naruto, literally, his signature was right next to the 12 Tales. As Jiraiya was confused by this, but nonetheless, he was excited that he got the White Wolf of the Mist signature. As then, we cut 2 years later. Now, Naruto is 16 years old, and now during this time, Naruto and Yugito has became full-fledged Anbu, doing higher-ranked missions like Naruto and so on. But there is this one mission Naruto wanted to go out on alone, and Mei allowed this. And afterwards, he decided to go drinking for the first time, as he wanted to see what it was like. After all, he is legally allowed to drink. As then, he goes to the bar. To a tavern. As then, he sits down. It just so happens to be next to this blonde lady. With very big assets, you could say. As he goes, and she makes a bet with him, saying, hey, if you can beat me in a drinking contest, then I'll do whatever you want me to do. Or, if I win, then you have to come follow me around and be my bodyguard, you could say. As Naruto says, fine. But if I win, I get to mark you as my drinking buddy. As Tsunade is confused, but she indulges this. As then, we cut to a few hours later, as we see to a Tsunade almost pass out on the table, on the tavern bar table. As then, Naruto has beaten her. As then, he does what he said he was going to do. He marked her as drinking buddy. Now, there's different ways of marking, like I said. Now, this one, he just touched her. And then, a mark of a wolf with, alcohol next to it appeared on her. And then he says, oh, miss, if you want a rematch, I will be in the Leaf in the next few months because of the tuning exam. So, if you want a rematch, just go over there during the tuning exams and we'll have a rematch. As then, Tsunade says, maybe I will. As then, Naruto decides to leave. Now, while he was leaving, he walked by a mirror as something caught to his attention. As it was a mark on his neck. It looked like a cat. As he thinks, kitten? Weird. As he says, I'll talk about this to Mei later. As then he teleports to the mist. As he reaches to his room, as Mei's standing there saying, next to his room, saying, "Where have you been?" As Naruto says, "Oh, nowhere, but..." And she's like, "Naruto, tell me." As then Naruto says, "Fine. I, kind of tried drinking one time, and I gained a drinking buddy." As Naruto says, as Mei says, "I see. Well, you need to be careful, okay? Because bad things can happen if you don't pay attention to your surroundings." As Naruto says, "Don't worry. Oh yeah, little sis, can I talk to you later about something?" As Mei says, "Fine." But we're gonna do a quick flashback. As soon as Naruto marked Tsunade, Yugito all of a sudden got this weird feeling as she felt Naruto marking somebody. She didn't know what kind of mark this was, but she was kind of angry and a little bit jealous that Naruto just marked somebody out of, for no reason, that she thinks anyway. As then we go back to present time. As then Naruto slept, and gotten silver a little bit so his mind is more clear. As then him and Mei start talking, and Mei goes, "So what did you want to talk to me about, big brother?" As then Naruto says, "Well, you see, when I was leaving the tavern, I saw a weird mark on my neck." As Mei says, "Oh." As then he shows it to Mei, as she sees the cat-like figure. It's like the Matatabi, or the Two Tails. As she says, He says, "It's pretty big, but I don't remember getting this. It's weird." As then Mei says, "Oh." As then she says, "Looks like we have a little kin eavesdropping." As then she says, "Come in, since you like to spy on us." As then Yugito walks in kind of like with her head hanging down. As then Naruto says, "Oh, hey, kitten." As then Mei says, "So, Yugito, would you like to tell Naruto what this mark is?" As then Naruto says, "Wait, you know what this mark is, kitten?" She says, "Yeah." Well, as she's poking her fingers in a nervous way and is kind of blushing. "Well, you see, when you saved me the first time, Naruto, I kind of marked you as mine, because I don't want anybody else to be yours, or I don't want anybody else to take you away from me, because I want you to be mine forever." As then she looks up and sees Naruto with his head hanging down she thinks he's angry. And then she says, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Are you mad?" As then Naruto motions for Yugito to come here. As she does, as then Naruto pulls her in close and just bites down on her neck. As then she's shocked. As then she could just feel a lot of Naruto's chakra just pouring into her. As then he releases from her. As then a big giant mark appears on her back. As then he says, "No, you are not mine. I am not yours. I am not your property. You are mine. Do you understand that, kin?" As then she starts blushing and she says, "What?" As then Naruto says, once again, "Like I said, you are mine. You are mine, no one else's. Do you understand that?" As then she shakes her head, "Yes." She says, "May I be excused?" As Mei and Naruto shake their head yes. As then Yugito goes to her room and screams out in excitement. As then she says, she also told them before she left, she's gonna be gone. She's gonna be doing something for a few hours. She's gonna be doing some research on scrolls, you could say. As they say, "Okay." As then Naruto says, "Well, I'm gonna go to bed." As Mei says, "What, you won't mark me?" As then Naruto says, fine, as then he goes over and then he touches her as a mark appears. As he says, there you go. As then she says, that's mean. As then Naruto disappears and then bites down on her neck and pumps more chakra into her. As Yugito after she left. As then Mei's like, that's mean. And then the only reason why she paid attention was because she felt a sting in her neck for a second. As then the mark appeared more. Now, this mark is not a lover's mark. It is actually just a sister mark at this time, but depending on things, it could evolve to something else. As then Naruto is there. Like, anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. Wake me up if you need me. As then he body flickers to his room. As then, a few hours later, Yugito comes out of her room and says, hey, by any chance, do you know where Naruto's room is? As then, Mei says, no. No, Ken, you're not going to his room. As then she says, but why not? As then she says, because I know what research you were doing. And no, you're not going to his room. As then she says, come on, please. She says no. And then all of a sudden Naruto appears and he says, picks up Yugito and he's like, I'm taking my kitten now. As then he body flickers to his room. As then Mei's just like, really, Naruto? Now Naruto sets Fu down on a bed he made out of his own fur for her. As it is like one of the softest things to do, or softest bed she's ever been in, due to Naruto's fur being so soft. As then he says, there, you can sleep there, I'm going back to bed. As then she says, Yugito says, oh, okay. As then they both go to sleep. Now, Naruto wakes up earlier, as then Mei walks in and says, hey Naruto, would you like me to brush your tail like I used to make sure all the strands of your hair and your tail are good? As Naruto says, sure. I don't mind. As then she starts brushing Naruto's tail, getting all the strands unknotted. And then all of a sudden Yugito wakes up, as then Yugito says, what are you doing? As then Mei says, I'm just brushing my brother's tail. Because, if we don't brush it after we sleep, then it won't look as pretty as it normally does. As then Yugito says, oh, I see. As then we cut a few hours later, as Mei says, I have a mission for you two. As then Naruto and Yugito say, oh, what is it? Can you please bring back Zabuza Momochi and his companion? I would like them back in the mist, after all. As Naruto says, oh, so this is an Anbu mission. She says, of course. I only send you on the top tier missions, Naruto. As Naruto says, okay. No worries. We'll get there. We'll do it. As then Yugito says, right. As then they start going and they start heading to the wave. Now, this is about the bridge part. Well, it's the second time. So Zabuza, it's been gone for a week for healing, and now, yeah. So, anyway, let's get back into it. As then, we cut to Naruto and Yugito walking towards the wave. As then, Naruto decides, I'm gonna go a little bit faster. I'll meet you up, Kitten. As Kitten says, okay, for Yugito. As then, all of a sudden, Naruto appears and does superhero landing. And then he lands on something on the bridge. As then he looks and he sees Zabuza shocked with Haku standing in front of him. As Naruto said, did I step in something? As then he looked down, he's like, oh. Huh. trauma boy. As death showed him of this boy, or this man's past, a little bit of what she's seen. And then he picks up Kakashi, and then Kakashi says, "What? Who are you?" As he's kind of dazed from getting hit to the ground. As then Naruto says, "Oh, no one, but you're Trauma Boy, right?" And he says, "Yeah." Or he's like, "Wait, what? No, I'm Kakashi Hatake." As Naruto says, "Oh, whatever." As then Kakashi goes, "What do you mean, Trauma Boy?" As then Naruto says, As then he says, he snaps his fingers like, "Oh." Then he claps his fingers. And all of a sudden, rain appears. As then Rain, out of nowhere, is just kind of dazed as she thinks, "Am I dead? Where am I?" As then Kakashi's eyes just go wide. As then Naruto says, "It's because of her, because, you kind of, Chidori'd," and he created a Chidori in his hand. And he's like, "Because you kind of Chidori'd her through the heart for no reason, Trauma Boy. You got trauma from that, right?" And Kakashi's, just shocked at the moment of seeing his deceased friend all of a sudden just alive. Now that's where I'm going to leave it off, and I hope you guys have a great day or night, depending on time zones. See ya!